Business Brain, episode 653 for Casual Friday, May 30th, International Hug Your Cat Day 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas and we use them to tune our business brains so that we can each keep on living those charmed lives that we value so greatly. Our sponsors, which we also value very greatly, are shopify.com/businessbrain, where you can sign up for a $1 per month trial period, and NordLayer.com/brain, where you get 22% off of NordLayer. And then when you use code BRAIN, another 10% off. So we'll talk more about all that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And in Lafayette, California, I'm Shannon Jean. Happy Friday, man.
Happy Friday, Shannon. You've known, there is a business that I have that I allude to on this show that I've never really shared the name of, and I'm not going to. But and there's no, the reasons are sort of a thing with my partners and that sort of thing, but it's fine. Yep. And we've had this business since 2018. It had spectacular growth sort of out of the gate. We put it up on the block. We've talked about all of that stuff. We had some deals that looked like they were going to come together. And then when the economy kind of, went into post-COVID, the post-COVID economy kind of went uncertain. Let's call it that. Those deals sort of fizzled out, which was fine. We had one of our partners that expressed interest in acquiring a majority stake in the company, and that negotiation took a really long time, like 18 months or perhaps longer. And there was no good reason for any of that, but it is what that took, and we were getting we were getting very close to the end of that. We expected that it would close by the end of this month, and instead the deal died. It did not. Like I often say, time kills all deals.
Yeah. A lot of truth to that, boy.
I thought that this one would be the one that was the exception that proved the rule. we all kind of did, but it was the buyers backed out. I'm sure there was something about our business that wasn't perfect for them, although I can't imagine what that would be given how much they got to learn about it at this point. They did not say that was their reason, but it's always smart to just say it's not you, it's me, right?
Yeah,
but the letter essentially that we got was like, yeah, look, we've had some major changes to our specific business, and there's been some, larger changes to the macroeconomy that we just can't do it, and so we're sorry. We can still partner together, like everybody's still friends, all that stuff.
Great. Yeah.
But the interesting part, though, was noticing my reaction to this, because the moment I got that email, I was relieved. And in theory, I shouldn't have been. I mean, it wasn't, the whole idea was going to be that they acquired a majority stake in this, and then we would become part of, they wanted their initial plan, which may have changed, was to acquire a bunch of different related companies, roll it all up, and instead of selling it for, 2, 3, 4, 5x, once you get a company of a bigger size, you can now sell it for 15x, right? And so that was the idea, is roll it up and sell the whole thing, and we would get a second bite of the apple, as they like to say in the business. Yeah. But it was really interesting noticing how relieved and happy I felt when the deal died, because in theory, I had worked really hard to put this together, and we were going to take some risk off the table. There was, a not insignificant amount of cash that was going to be passed around, and that's always good. But it also meant we wouldn't control our business anymore.
Yeah. So maybe that was the relief that you felt, or just, I don't know. The dynamic would definitely have changed, right?
Yes.
It's not like you would have been working for someone, but someone
in a
else
sense, I've got somebody to report to. Yes.
Yeah, they have majority ownership, so maybe deep down that was a relief.
I mean, it was certainly there was relief that the process was ending because it's a huge distraction.
It is
to go through this. And you and I learned a lesson a long time ago.
We have been through this, yes.
Yep, about how not to get emotionally committed to the other side of it until the check clears, essentially.
Yeah, until the money's in your bank. Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah, that's true.
And so my partners and I learned from that lesson. Like I was able to share that with them in a way that they, even though they didn't really go through it like you and I did, but like they understood it. And part of the frustration was we had several things, major things that we have pretty much ready to roll out with this business that we had held on to because some of it was like a major change to the way the website for this business works. And, because we were getting so close to where this deal was going to close, we knew that Murphy's Law was, well, look, if we roll this out and then we find out we're closing in 48 hours, that's the moment that the new website, even though we've tested it and everything's fine, it's going to go belly up for, a day or two while we're trying to fix it. And is that going to scare them off of the deal and all this stuff? So we've been holding this stuff now for a long time, probably, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So I'm excited to finally be able to actually get back to work in this business as opposed to, the process of holding and trying to negotiate this deal, which there was not really anything left to negotiate. And so, but I think there was more to it than I think part of it, and I didn't really think about this until a couple days later, was, if it took them 18 months to put a relatively small deal together.
Yes.
How long is it going to take them to put the roll up together?
Or just to make any decision.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? That's not, I mean, we always, a part of our superpower, and I know you have this too, is making fast decisions.
Yes.
And
these people also can make fast decisions. Like there were some things that were inexplicable certainly in retrospect, because I know these people, we've worked with them for almost the entirety of our, the longevity of the business, which is, 7 years. But there were just some things where it was like, oh yeah, I don't know. There certainly were moments where I was the unknown of what it was going to be like once this happened, once this deal closed. I had to put out of my mind. Like, over the last month and a half, like I would get into my head about something and be like, oh, well, what is that? And are we going to be out in a year? Because they only wanted to do 1 year's worth of employment contracts. Why didn't they want to do 2? Wouldn't they want us around? Are we going to be out? Like, do we really not get to control? We still maintain the minority stake, of course,
sure.
But do we not get to control our destiny at all? Like, but as soon as I had that thought, it was like, nope, we'll figure it out when we get there. We're too close. Don't start, don't sour this thing now. So, but it was really interesting. Like
I think it's stressful too. I think it's just those unknowns are introduce another layer of, oh wow, I don't know what's going to happen. And I've got, all that stuff. It doesn't come without a cost. Right. There is a cost associated with selling all or part of your business.
A majority part. And there was a moment, and our attorneys don't know the other party like we do, which that makes perfect sense. However, there was a moment, and this was like 10 months ago, it was a while ago. The other people had the wrong attorneys that made this thing drag out for sure. For a while. Then they got a great attorney and everything worked out great, except it didn't. But we liked the attorney. And our attorney said to us, they're like, you might just be selling your business for 60% of what it's worth, though, because we were going to sell 60% and keep 40.
Yeah.
And they're like, we've seen this before. And maybe that stuck in my head.
Maybe
attorneys are built to kill deals. Like that is the profession. Yep. But it was interesting. It was an interesting, and this only happened. I think it was a week ago today that we found out that this deal was dead, and we all kind of went through our process, but then we met 2 days later, the three of us partners, and there was no negativity. It was like, all right, this is great. Let's go.
Yeah, one door closes, man.
Absolutely. That was it. Well, and no small part of it was the employment contracts, there was a fixed salary, if you will, that we would get paid. And it was like, well, this is kind of weird. Like, we don't get to control what happens with the profits anymore. Like, this is a decision we make with somebody else. I don't know. Anyway, it was an interesting thing to go through. Like you said, opportunity knocks, and I don't see it as a negative, other than the obvious thing of taking risk off the table means that there are also unknowns in keeping it, right? Like, keeping. Of course, obviously.
There's yes or no. There's repercussions, right?
Correct. Correct.
And you don't know.
You don't get to know.
Nope. You don't get to know. That's it.
You don't get to know.
Yeah. That's amazing. But, well, I bet you it'll work out well for you guys.
I think it will. I think it. Yeah. I feel really good about it, as do my partners. Which was, when I went into that kind of team meeting that we had on Thursday of last week, 2 days after this thing, I was like, all right, well, do I need to be like the cheerleader here and make sure everybody's focused?
Everybody's situation's different, right?
Yeah. Correct. That's correct. Really great. Yeah. So
that's cool.
It's good. We have Friday AI to do, and the next thing I want to do is tell you about our two sponsors. Because look, if your business is growing fast and your tech stack looks like it was built during a caffeine-fueled weekend hackathon, congrats, you're doing it right. But now you need NordLayer, our sponsor, to keep it all secure without pulling you into IT purgatory. NordLayer is the network security platform built for modern businesses. It's your VPN, your access control, your compliance assistant, your threat shield, all wrapped into one neat toggle-ready package. You can deploy it in minutes, scale it with your team, and monitor who's doing what and from where. And it's based on zero trust, meaning you're not handing out skeleton keys to your entire castle. It's just enough access for the right people at the right time. Oh, and if you ever wanted to feel like you have a security operations center hidden inside your laptop bag, NordLayer's built-in threat detection and dark web monitoring kind of makes that happen. No cape required. Protect your business the smart way. You get up to 22% off NordLayer's annual plans at nordlayer.com/brain, plus 10% more with code BRAIN. So that's nordlayer.com/brain, code BRAIN. Stay fast, stay safe, stay charmed. And our thanks to NordLayer for sponsoring this episode. And you know that question that lives rent-free in every entrepreneur's brain? What if it actually works, right? That's the wild part, because it can. But you need the right foundation. You need our sponsor, Shopify. Maybe you're thinking, what if I don't know how to build a website? Well, Shopify gives you gorgeous templates, no coding required. What if I need to help writing product descriptions? Well, Shopify's got AI tools that'll do that with you. What if I launch and no one buys? Well, Shopify's built-in email and social marketing tools help you find customers wherever they are scrolling. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. That's amazing. Not just side hustles and startups, right? But brands that you know and trust. And if Shopify can help a team launch a burrito-themed sneaker line, yes, that happened, then it can definitely help you. So stop with the what ifs and start building your charmed life. Turn your big business idea into ka-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/businessbrain. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain. Again, shopify.com/businessbrain. Right. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. It's time for Friday AI, Shannon. I
love Friday AI.
I have a quick one to start with.
Great.
I mean, I say it's going to be a quick one. Who knows? Lydia Davey, the co-founder at Attentio PR, said she posted on LinkedIn. She said, work's been intense lately in the best way possible. And here's how I'm using ChatGPT to stay ahead of the curve. I grab a pen and scratch every last task into my planner. Okay, fine. Then I snap a pic and upload it to ChatGPT with the prompt, I don't think there are enough hours in the day for me to do this work. how might I prioritize this client work that needs to get done today? And what might I be able to reasonably outsource? Block my time for me.
Can you get access to your calendar?
I don't think so. That's interesting. But I mean, it could certainly build a calendar for you. But
Okay.
I mean, well, you at the very least, you could take a screenshot of your calendar for the week showing your time that's blocked and unblocked and give it that and say, create my calendar with, fill in the rest of my calendar, right? If it knows you got business brain to record here and band practice there, whatever, like, okay, great. Like I put screenshots into ChatGPT more often than not when starting a prompt now. Or pictures of some sort, but screenshots specifically.
Like
I'm
asking it right now. I just took a screenshot of my next 2 weeks because it's a hellscape
mayhem.
Of mayhem because I was gone on vacation. I'm gonna see what it has to say. Okay, so she writes everything down, just like takes her notes of what I got to get done, then she uploads it and asks it to block my time
and prioritize the work. Right? Like the prompt, I'll say it again because it's great. She starts by saying, I don't think there are enough hours in the day for me to do this work. How might I prioritize this client work that needs to get done today? And what might I be able to reasonably outsource? Block my time.
I like it.
Right?
I just uploaded my 2 weeks and it says, whoa, your calendar looks like it's nearing critical overload.
That's never a good thing when the robot can't handle what you've done to your life. Yeah.
And then it says, here are 7 proven strategies to bring sanity back to your schedule. Oh, that's kind of cool. I
bet you could upload, if you exported your calendar as an ICS file, you could upload the ICS file to ChatGPT and have it parse that.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why not.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty savvy. I mean, it's looking at, what do you want to do? More deep work, more whatever, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I had an interesting, I was standing at South by Southwest waiting for a band to start playing. And I ran it. Tell me if this sounds familiar, because I've certainly told this story, but I don't think I've told you. And, I was standing up near the front of this venue. It was a relatively small venue. And a photographer showed up, and they always make their way to the front. And they're very good at creating space where none exists. And as was this guy, right? And he had a unique look to him, this like yellowish hair and big, and like he had a look. And I was like, man, we were chit-chatting for a little bit. I'm like, I feel like we've met before. I'm like, maybe last year here or something like that. And he's like, maybe. I'm like, you live here in Austin? He's like, no, I live in Boston. I take pictures of bands all over the place. I'm like, okay. Like, I also live near, right. It's like, okay, well, he's like, maybe I took pictures of your band. I'm like, that's possible. And so he's like, let me look. And he keeps on his phone. He has access to a Google Sheet where one per year, he lists all of the events that he attended and shot and the dates of it and the bands that were there. And he's like, what's the name of your band? I told him Bitter Pill. And he's like, yeah, I don't have it. And he looked at the years that he thought it would be. And he's like, yeah, no, that wouldn't be it. I'm like, okay. And he was like, yeah, but you look familiar too. He's like, I don't know why. And I said, well, if only, I said, we could use ChatGPT to solve this. Now, we didn't, because in the moment, I'll explain to you what I was going to do, but like we did not have devices that would let this happen.
Okay.
But if I had access to my computer, I thought, okay, well, this is a perfect use case for ChatGPT. And a friend of mine was there. He's like, I got to learn about ChatGPT. I'm like, great, here's an idea. He has all of these dates in a Google Sheet. I have all of the shows I've played and attended in my calendar. So if I export my entire calendar as an ICS file and upload that to ChatGPT, and he takes his spreadsheets and saves those as spreadsheets, and we upload that to ChatGPT, it can very quickly go through and find the dates where we were in 2 different places, or to the same place, even though it's 2 different modalities of that data, right? Like I don't have to take my calendar and turn it into a spreadsheet to match his. He doesn't have to, like, it will do all of that. and just come back and say, yeah, here's the dates where you guys were in the same place at the same time. And we haven't done that yet, but those are the kinds of things that are good to think about with ChatGPT. Those, like the multimodal stuff, especially, where it's like, all right, look, here's a screenshot of this one thing, and here's what I'm getting from this other thing. I use it for tech support all the time, and it synthesizes all that data into one blob for itself to then analyze, or for you to analyze. It'll regurgitate it back to you. But anyway, those are my two additions for FridAI this week.
It's great. I'm going to follow some of these tips that after just uploading the snapshot on my calendar.
I can already see you're finished with the episode and moving on because you've got this thing.
I gotta go get this done. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Well, there's always a price for being on vacation. You just have to, the first week back is always a challenge. But
yes.
I have this a mastermind. This is $5 mastermind. It's all about reselling and everything. And one of the things I implemented on the advice of my coach, who helps me out, was, hey, you should book a call with every one of those people that signs up, because they will be leads and they will help you and you can learn. And I'm like, that's a great idea, because when you're a coach, you always want new clients, right?
That's so that's the whole gig, man.
That's the whole gig. So I'm like, great. And I love talking to people and everything else. But I had an explosion of new signups, and we're almost at 500 members.
500 half-hour calls is a lot, or even 15-minute calls.
I only do 15 minutes, and
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And yes, it does work. I have recruited clients from there. It's wonderful. I love talking with people, and there are folks that want.
That's 125 hours, right?
Yes, it is.
500 times 15 minutes. No.
Yes.
That's 500 times 125. Yeah, it'd be 125 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Isn't that? Do I have that right? 500 people times quarter of an hour is 125. Yeah.
So I'm coming off of so I'm changed this morning. I changed what I did. One of the things that the AI suggests that I do is block out the time and don't let people schedule it. So I blocked out 90 minutes in the morning each day to take those kinds of calls, and that's it. And that way, but inevitably what I get is I went to your calendar and the first availability was a month out. I'm like, man.
Yep.
That's just the way it is. I don't know. So it's kind of, it's a pro benefit, and it's like, oh my gosh, when I only had 50 people in there, it was okay, great, I'll do it. But when we've scaled and doubled tripled our members in the last month, it's a challenge. Good problem to have. I love talking with people. And it's great.
The consultant trap.
I'm working through it.
I know. No, I know.
Yeah. Systemation, having never done it before, really. Developing the systems, and I'm doing it manually at first, just like we talked about in the previous episode, and learning lots of great stuff by doing it manually. And now I'm automating, systematizing, and bringing better control into it. So it's a better experience for me and for my clients.
And for your clients. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff.
It's great.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. That's all I got for today.
All right.
I'm
same.
Happy to, it's a good thing. But I do want to remind you, if you're listening, we're giving away a MacBook. And so far, we only have a handful of people that have entered to win. So your odds are incredibly in your favor. Way high. So go to businessbrain.show/review and leave us a review. And every time you post a review, you'll be entered to win. And we're going to give it away. And so far, I think maybe we have 10, 12 people entered in there.
I think it's probably closer to 30. But, still.
It's directionally in the right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
But, go leave us a review. Plus, it helps. This show is not
And
free.
you can leave 2 reviews. You can leave one on Apple Podcasts, one on Spotify. If you can find other place to use reviews, great. Leave them there for us, too. Let us know. We love it. We love it. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. Fun stuff. Send in your FridAI to feedback@businessbrain.show. And, keep living that charmed life.
See
you next week.